There are some really big things going on for Cardano outside of ADA price. And I do want to talk about ADA price just a little bit in this video because we did have some important things happen here over the last 24 hours. But Cardano is actually only one of 3 blockchains that has been labeled mature. This is pretty big going into a week where we're talking about, crypto legislation and embrace and the big future for the crypto market in general. We're going to talk about all that and more in this video. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So at the time of filming this video, it's about 7:20 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we're seeing a little bit of U.S. money sell to start the day. We had a little bit of an overnight pump, not really surprising. We'll see where things head as the day moves on. Now, something I did want to talk about just briefly is that I didn't look at the ADA BTC chart earlier today, and actually we had a perfect test and perfect retest on that as well. So again, like the perfection I was talking about in terms of the charts, they're continuing throughout almost every chart in terms of ADA. It's a beautiful setup. Hopefully this green that we're seeing continues. We'll have to watch and wait and see what happens. But I think the bigger embrace, more long-term thinking, like I've always talked about, is what we should be focused on. And something really big came out that I think people need to be aware of. This is actually in regards to the Clarity Act. And there are actually only 3 blockchains that are labeled mature. So this is actually Bitcoin, Ethereum, and go figure, Cardano. Now, just as a kind of a brief description on these, Bitcoin, likely mature, fully decentralized proof of work, fair distribution, no central control. Ethereum, likely mature, decentralized proof of stake with broad development and public token distribution. And Cardano, likely mature, just like the others, public proof of stake with diverse validators and no single holder over 20%. The ones that fall as not mature are BNB, XRP, Solana, Tron, and Dogecoin falls as borderline. So I thought that this was a pretty interesting deal. And you guys can obviously read more about this, but why this is in fact such a big deal is this legislation and regulation surrounding the blockchain industry, the crypto industry, it's going to affect adoption down the road. And what I mean by that is enterprises and governments. Now, if you have a blockchain that does not meet the criteria for enterprises, they're not going to be able to use it. That's where Cardano already has a leg up. We talk about Cardano being an enterprise blockchain. We talk about, again, governments and enterprises being the things that are going to bring Cardano online in a big way. It's right in front of us, telling us exactly that, okay? And maybe some people disagree. You're arguing with the bills that are in Congress right now. So this is a pretty big deal and something to definitely watch next week as there are discussions going on surrounding the Clarity Act. Something big I want to talk about here as well or mention is that Intersect developed a new smart contract framework to enhance the secure, transparent, and auditable management of Cardano ADA's on-chain treasury. This framework utilizes treasury and vendor contracts for fund holding and milestone-based releases. So this is a pretty big deal. They did also drop Read the other day as well. There's a lot of developments that are, again, continue to take place for Cardano and work in our favor. And something I wanted to point to as well here is we're having massive amounts of accumulation take place from some of the largest entities in the space. In fact, Cardano whales, ADA whales, have just continued to smash the buy button time after time after time. In fact, since the early part of July, their holdings are up very significantly. But since the lows, the year-to-date lows of 11.9 billion, they're now up to 13.18. And guys, this is just the holder group of 10 million to 100 million ADA. We talked about the other day that the holders between 1 million to 10 million ADA are accumulating. The holders between 100 million to over 1 billion ADA are accumulating. Whales in totality are building and building and building and preparing for the big things that are coming down the pipeline. That includes obviously the launch of Midnight, includes adoption of the Cardano ecosystem, includes us getting past regulation, includes us getting an ADA spot ETF. I mean, there are so many things that right now I'll say the smart people are preparing for. This is why it's going to be absolutely comical when there are a bunch of people that are just left on the sidelines. And I don't mean to laugh at people, but you've had an opportunity to accumulate. You've had an opportunity to buy the lows, and people just simply aren't paying attention. Right now, I talked about this in a Shiv video earlier today. Guess what finally appeared in the top 200 free app downloads? Coinbase and Robinhood. Guys, the retail wave is going to be coming a lot sooner than people realize. The enterprise wave is coming a lot sooner than people realize. And there are a lot of people that are going to be kicking themselves because they weren't preparing in the times where things were quiet, where the bad news in the market was very loud. Those are historically some of the best times to accumulate, when nobody is paying attention. Well, guess what? It's about to get a lot louder, especially next week. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.